Mother-daughter relationships.
What do you think makes a good mother-daughter relationship?
Well, I think, okay, that's a loaded question.
Yeah,
Um,
of course it is.
Honesty and like lack of judgment, I guess. Honesty from the part of the kid and lack of judgment from the parent. And honestly, once you get to the point where you have a relationship, then flipping that around too. Like you telling me the truth and me being like, well, shit happens.
Right, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like if I judge you, I judge you to your face, right? If you
Well, yeah, but it's not just
It's
that.
not
It's
judging,
like
it's telling you the truth.
it's not judging, it's more of like making sure I'm comfortable enough to like tell you things that like maybe some parents would judge me for.
Welcome to Her Unshakeable Confidence with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Knego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into Her Unshakeable Confidence and join this special journey of connection and growth. It's like catching up with old friends who inspire you to be bravely and uniquely you.
Welcome to this week's episode of Her Unshakeable Confidence. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego.
And today we're talking about mother-daughter relationships because, we're shooting the shit to each other. And we're like, might as well just record it, right? Because we have this great relationship. We really do. I feel like I have a great relationship with all of my kids. The rest of them would never want to do a podcast with me, but that's understandable. I mean, who really wants to put themselves out there other than you?
I mean, I don't know. I like to put myself out there.
Well, I think it's good.
I went to brunch after my morning class today and we were just talking to our waitress. And at one point I was like, sorry, like I literally just like to talk to everybody.
I think it's a good thing. You learn
Yeah.
something from everyone you meet.
Yeah, you do. And I love to talk. I don't know if a lot of people love that I love to talk, but hey, I love myself.
Ooh, that's an important step.
Yeah, this week I've been feeling particularly awesome. I will not lie.
That's a good thing. I've been feeling okay this week. I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed this week. I feel like there's like too many things coming at me from so many different directions. I think once I'm done with the hurricane stuff and the insurance stuff, that I'm going to feel better about. But I feel like I got this big speech coming up in 2 weeks, and I finally have it solidified today. But I am like right on point. Like it is going to take me the full 15 minutes, and that makes me a little nervous because I like to have a little bit of
Wiggle room.
buffer in case So, but it is what it is because all the stories are so good. I don't want to get rid of them.
Well, I actually have no complaints for today. I mean, like, it's raining, and I think that just affected my mood. I hate when it rains. Well, actually, I love when it rains, but I hate doing anything when it rains.
You know what's crazy is that since Hurricane Milton, we've had like one drizzle. That's it. Like,
we haven't actually had rain since, what was the storm? Helene came through like North Carolina and we got some outbursts. So we haven't had rain in like a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, it hits on Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, for all and
Halloween as an adult sucks, by the way.
Like, it's not necessarily true.
No, you're just like I'm in this weird gap right now where it's like you can't really go out on weeknights. First of all, second of all, I'm out of the college clubbing phase. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put on a skimpy outfit and go to a bar until 2 a.m, especially on a weeknight. Third of all, I don't own my own house, so I can't give out candy to kids because, like, that's entertaining at least.
I just forgot about that.
And fourth, I don't have a child, so I can't take anybody trick-or-treating. So I'm in this, like, weird little range of, like, oh, this is going to suck for a couple more years, and then it's going to get fun again.
Well, you could just go out to dinner or something. I don't know.
For Halloween?
I don't know. What do you do on Halloween if you're not trick-or-treating or going to a Halloween party?
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's either going to a party and getting drunk or going to a party and trick-or-treating. And, like, there's no in between. And it's like, it's a weeknight. It's a Thursday.
So just treat it like a regular night. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's wine. I don't know. What are you drinking?
A Jack and Coke.
A Jack and Coke. Delicious. I
Well,
hate bourbon. It's not delicious.
technically, Jack is whiskey. I went to the
Oh,
distillery.
whatever. I don't like that either. I'm not a fan of, I don't know. I just see it. I mean, I don't think you like it either.
No, I don't. But now that I live in the South, I have to like become accustomed to it. Actually, I was talking to your friend that lives here about how she like built up her whiskey and bourbon tolerance because I went to one adult function at like someone's house and they had no wine. The only thing, like, no like really hard spirits available. It was just bourbon and whiskey. And I was like, oh, so like I just have to change everything about myself now.
I'm sorry. Aren't those hard spirits?
No, but like vodka, like clear spirits. That's a word.
Okay. I was
Clear
like,
spirits.
it's like, boy, what are you looking for there?
Those are the hard spirits.
Okay, let's get down to our topic.
Mother-daughter
what do
relationships.
you think makes a good mother-daughter relationship?
Well, I think okay, that's a loaded question.
Yeah,
Um,
of course it is.
Honesty and like lack of judgment, I guess. Honesty from the part of the kid and lack of judgment from the parent. And honestly, once you get to the point where you have a relationship, then flipping that around too. Like you telling me the truth and me being like, well, shit happens.
Right, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like if I judge you, I judge you to your face, right? If you,
Well, yeah, but it's not just
it's
that.
not
It's
judging,
like
it's telling you the truth.
it's not judging, it's more of like making sure I'm comfortable enough to like tell you things that like maybe some parents would judge me for.
Mm. Do you
Like
feel like you
underage
tell me?
drinking.
Do you feel like you tell me most things?
I tell you like probably 95% of what happens in my life. I don't think like obviously I have a couple secrets from you, but mostly because I know you'd be disappointed. So
Why would you think that?
because I can learn from my mistakes. Like it's
Well,
not like you have like a random track pattern of behavior.
yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I mean like I'm very honest with you. I'm very open with you.
Do you
I
think
think
most kids are?
no,
Yeah.
not at all. I think like once I went, well, first of all, in high school, I already knew it was weird, but like one of my best friends had like a very close relationship with her parents. So I was like, oh, like maybe it's normal. And like my other friend is the odd one out, like having a not as close relationship with her parents. But once I got to college, you just realize like not at all. Not at all. People don't even call their parents when they go to college, much less like tell them every juicy detail about their lives.
Is it because, well, I mean, there's lots of options because they don't really care, or they feel like they're going to be judged, or they don't feel like they need that relationship in their life.
I don't think anybody is a third option. Mm-mm-mm. I think that everybody that I've talked to, at least, and I'm sure there's some people out there that don't, but like they want a parental relationship. They want a relationship with their parents. Like I don't think I've met a single person. What and obviously, extreme situations aside, of just like normal me and my parents just don't really get along, or like we don't really have that much in common. I think a lot of those individuals do want relationships with their parents. They're just there's something holding them back, whether that's on the kid's side or the parent side.
Yeah, I feel like I obviously I didn't have the same relationship with my parents that I have with my children, right? And I think I kind of learned from that a bit. I mean, it's not that I had a bad relationship with them, but I didn't have the relationship where I would just call and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm having the worst day ever," or here are the great things that happened today, where I feel like if I don't talk to, not as much my boys, honestly, but my if I don't talk
Yeah.
to you guys, you and Emma, pretty much every day, whether it's a phone call or a text, or and it's usually not one text, it's like 16, 37, 85 texts.
Whoa, you are associating the two of us too closely there. I am not like her.
Yeah, well, if I don't have,
I'm a phone call person.
yeah, you're a phone call person, but I think it's important to have those constant check-ins, and not because I feel like I have to, but because I want to.
Well, that and I mean, like from my end, first of all, like this is gonna sound so lame, but you are one of my best friends,
That
so
is
I
not lame.
do.
That is like goals, man. For
Okay,
most
well, it's
moms,
goals for
that's
you. It's kind
goals.
of lame for me, but
Oh my God, you just insulted the shit
nah,
out of
my
me.
parents are dope, bro.
Yeah.
I love my parents. You guys are
Thank
funny,
you. Thank you.
and you guys are fun to go out with, and you make everyone that ever has gone out with you feel included. You always try to make an effort with my friends, which is like something I could not say that I've experienced a lot from my friends' parents, like best friend relationships aside. You like make everyone feel included. But on like a note of our relationship, it just, I don't know. I've always felt comfortable with you, I guess. And I always think
Why?
about, that's what I think about a lot. Was I just an easy kid so you didn't have to do strict parenting? I don't know. I mean, I was not an easy kid. Let me take that right back. But like in terms of like social, you know what, like normal bad kid behavior, I had like mental health issues behavior.
Yeah, I would say that I think for all of our kids, I want to really say for all of our kids, they liked being homebodies. I
Oh
feel
my
like
God. Yeah.
we created a space where they didn't really want to leave. And I mean, they obviously, as you grow up, you do, but, and some of them had their good friends, but like the friends that they went to, their house was very much like our house. So
Yeah.
that it was still like that open relationship with their parents. And
Yeah, and that's what I've like that's what I saw in my friendships definitely in high school and I mean a bit in college. Obviously it's different, but like my best friend in high school would be like either going to our house and talking to you about everything going on in school or going to her house and talking about everything going on in school. So it's like it's been weird to me, I guess, to see other sort of parental relationships.
but I do think that is kind of the norm. So I mean, I
Oh
think the
yeah.
goal today is to try to help people understand like how do you build a relationship like this? Because I do think most parents like that is goals. Not all. Some
Well,
parents like they want to raise their
they
kids
want to have their kid,
and they
yeah,
want to be
whatever, teach their own.
yep. They want to be empty nesters and do their own thing. And not that I don't want to do that. Like, of course, like we got 2 more years and then things change quite a bit. But every moment that I get to have with my kids, I think it is such a gift. And
Oh,
every conversation I have is such a gift. And
sometimes.
the idea of not wanting that, I think, is just strange to me.
Well, I think, yeah, obviously there's some people that don't want it, period, but I think a lot of people just don't know how to have it. And I think like the first barrier there is judgment. It's like
Yeah.
you, your parents are, you know, your first discipline figures in life. And so with that, depending on their style of discipline might come with like with a kid's secret keeping or just not even explicit secret keeping, more of just, oh, this isn't important enough to tell my parents because like it might make them angry, it might make them upset. And you know what? Like it's not worthy of what other punishment I'll get for it. And I think that's where a lot of it starts.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I think that what I always said to you guys is whatever you do, I'm going to support you. And I think that's a huge thing. Wait, you just made a
I know,
snort.
but I'm just thinking of all the situations like if I went to prison.
Okay, well, the thing is, I'm supporting you before you get there so you don't have to go there. Okay, that is hilarious. Like
True.
not putting yourself in situations. Obviously, if something happened to you, I would be there to support you, right? Like
Yeah,
you have a bad accident and things don't go well and you have to go to jail. I'm not going to walk away from you. I mean,
I
that's
know that.
ridiculous. That means that there's
Obviously, I
not
know that.
unconditional love.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, obviously I know that. Duh.
Okay, well,
But you have always, yeah, you guys have been really good about letting us do what we want, but without making it like this lawless land households because it wasn't. We still had rules.
yeah, you had
Like
rules.
when I wanted, when in 10th grade, I was like, I'm going to go to school for fashion design, blah, 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 blah. Dad was like, no, you're not. Like, you're going to, if you want to do that after 2 years in state and getting your AA, then you can, but you're not doing that. And then like obviously he ended up right, which I will say that's a weird learning lesson is that like in, I don't know if a lot of people can say the same, 99% of the time looking back at situations you guys have been right. One
Oh
of the
my
things
God.
that I think,
My chair is uncomfortable today.
oh, I'm sorry to hear,
Sorry.
one of
Maybe
the
it's just
things
me.
that I think you guys are always right about is who are good friends and who are not good friends. I think that in every situation that I have been in where it has been like really like a friendship meltdown that was like very much like affected me. It wasn't just like a friend, like we lost connection, and like a breakdown of a friendship every single time you've been right about that individual.
I'm going to take credit for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the key has really been that openness, the honesty, the non-judgmental piece, and not trying to protect you from the entire world. Like if I say to you, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Do it.
Do all those things.
Yeah.
So, our conversations were always like, I know you're going to do this. Here's how to do this safely. Or if you go to this party, do not get in another person's car. I will come pick you up. And, so I feel like setting up those boundaries, because I'm not stupid, right? I mean, I was a teenager. I had horrible experiences as a teenager because I didn't have someone say to me, here's what could happen. I'm not a helicopter parent at all. Like I am
No.
far from that, but
You
I
do track
am,
my location occasionally, but
well,
because you're
I
nosy.
do. Well, I just like certain
You're
times I'm
nosy.
like, I just want to make sure everybody's alive. Check, check, check. Everybody's good. Okay. I can go to bed now. You'll see. You'll see.
For
But I don't
sure.
ever do. The difference is I don't ever do anything with that. It's not like I track your location and say, oh my gosh, I
One
can't.
time you texted me, you were like, "Why are you in Jersey right now?" And I was like, Why do you care?"
Well, because you didn't tell me you were going to Jersey, and you
It's
tell me
across the
all the
river. It's
things.
To me, Jersey is across the river. It's like going to the Bronx.
Well, it's like when you're running through Central Park at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That happened one time.
I'm kind of questioning why you're there. Okay.
I have toned down since moving to Nashville and becoming a law student.
So,
But that was another thing. Like, you were a teenager once. You were a young adult once. You did stupid shit once.
I did a
And
lot of
I
stupid shit.
think, and I did a lot of stupid shit. I still do. But like, I have done a lot of stupid shit. And every single time I become scared that, because it's rationally scared that you guys are going to be upset with me. And every single time you just like give me the grace that like I need.
It's interesting that you think that. I mean, maybe that's the way to set it up, to think like you can tell us anything, but you're scared that you're still going to get in trouble, even though we've set it up that you can tell us anything.
It's not that I'll get in trouble. It's that I hate when you guys are disappointed.
Yeah. That's why
It's I
something
always
you
have it.
always felt that way.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think all of our siblings would probably say that. It's like the disappointment factor is definitely impactful more in our family than it is the anger factor.
Yeah.
Because that means something we did really upsets you, not just breaking your favorite Christmas ornament. Like that you can be angry about, but like that's short term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You always said that. If I said that, the worst thing I can say is that I'm disappointed. And
Yeah.
but that
I don't
means
think
that
you've really said it that often, honestly. Maybe
no.
like once, and I can't even remember about what. So
Yeah. No, I don't think that was really part of our discussion, because I really, honestly, you guys are all great kids. I never had that face that you're making every time you
dude,
take a
I
sip of
just
that.
like
It
really
cracks me
don't
up.
think I like whiskey.
I can tell you don't. I'm watching you drink it. It's
And
painful to
I
watch.
can literally see it like
I
affecting
know.
my face.
Yeah.
Alcohol and me have like a weird face flush reaction.
Well, it's kind of typical. It's probably something in it that does it. I have that happen sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, I think that our relationship is such that it means that you actually respect me, that you think that me being disappointed is a big deal, right? Because if you
Yeah.
don't respect someone, you don't care what they think,
Yeah.
right?
I
Now,
respect you guys.
the way that we really raised you is that you need to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you're not going to do things that are going to disappoint us, because you're
Yeah.
respecting yourself. And that's huge.
Did we have an episode that we talked about like bodily autonomy and like teaching kids like bodily respect? I feel like we talked about it. Like we're always taught to respect your elders, but not yourself. And like
Yeah,
I
but
feel like
we've never done a full episode on that, because I
no,
mean,
okay, but
yeah.
we've talked like that is. I feel like yeah, and like you taught us the importance of like boundaries with individuals as well. Um, and also like when not to get involved, I think is something that was like very important for me to learn, that probably prevented me from being in a lot of situations that would have made you disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's also a hard thing, right? Because as a parent, well, for me, as a parent, knowing when do you say something, when do you not, when do you just stand by the sidelines? And it's sometimes it's a fine line where you have to make your own mistakes, you have to learn from your experiences, but as someone that has gone through a lot of different things and some that were very heartbreaking, you want to make sure your kids don't do the same, but you can't tell
Hmm.
them that, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
can tell them all your stories, and I think that that was probably something that really worked in our favor, is that we did tell you guys all of the different things that we went through, and it makes us not seem like, okay, these this superiority complex standing above us telling us what to do, versus, oh my gosh, they're human too.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's also like a weird thing that I feel like I've grappled with growing up is that it's you guys' first time on the planet too.
Mm.
And so like yeah, you were a teenager and you already made those mistakes, but I think it's weird watching you like become an adult or like from like me watching you, I guess, progress throughout life. And like that's weird, I guess.
Well, it is weird in general. I mean, just think of transformation from,
Yeah, but just I feel like growing up doesn't stop when you're 18.
no, growing
So
up
like
never
that
stops,
is but like
honestly.
that's like you kind of you have that mindset when you're a kid and then you're like, "Oh crap, like I'm not done and my parents aren't even done."
That's a really interesting observation because I haven't really thought about it like that, but it is true. Like, we are growing as you are growing, right?
Mhm.
We are changing, and the way we were with your oldest brother is way different than we are with your youngest sister, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have realized some of the things that we made a big deal about really not so important. And I think that's the thing as a parent, is that you have to be able to adapt. And a lot of times we try to say, okay, these are the rules. This is what you have to do. And as a child, these are the things you have to do, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way, right? You adapt as time goes on. I mean, gosh, from the change from when Jacob was a baby, we had a regular film camera. That tells you how much things have changed,
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, do you think that hmm, do you think your parenting style has changed though?
I think I'm not as worried. I mean, I still, again, I don't keep myself up at night thinking that bad things are going to happen. I can't say that I ever was that kind of parent that was like so anxious all the time, but I I do think that it has changed over time, realizing what's important. And when Jacob was little, it was so focused on him doing well in school and everything has to be just so. And as I went through that, you guys, everybody had such a different personality. And what I realized is, like, you got to parent to the child. You can't parent to the parent, right? You can't
Mhm.
just be this one dimensional parent that doesn't adapt with each child. And I think that is something that has kind of served us really well, because the way I work with your older sister is completely different than the way I work with you, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, we're two different people completely.
right. But some parents, I feel like they will try to parent the same to each child. And I think that's where you run into problems.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um because you're just going to have I mean, no two kids are the same. No two people are the same. And if you're parenting the same, you're going to be recognizing one kid's accomplishments that one kid might A, never get to, or B, have blown the other one out of the water.
Yeah,
And like that definitely creates an uncomfortable situation.
I think so too. And
You guys also never cared about grades. Caveat to that is yes, but what you cared about was did you put the effort in?
100%. And I feel like, okay, pause for a second. You got to just pause for a second. Keep talking because I have to send your sister a message.
Oh. Well, yeah, you guys never did care about grades. I mean, dad to this day, he doesn't care about obviously, like, yes, he still cares, but it's more of just they always wanted to see the effort was being put in. And that's when you guys would get upset if, we did poorly on an exam and, well, did you study? Not really. Well, that's, yeah.
And it's not even did you do poorly on the exam. The big thing, especially for your dad about education, is that you're learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can study all day long and still do horrible on a test,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But did you learn something, right? And
Yeah. You didn't want straight regurgitation of it. And
right.
because I think a lot of what this school system is, especially when you're younger, is just like regurgitation of information so you can get through the grades, which, like, whatever, that's a topic for a different time. But he was always very focused on making sure we actually know what's going on. And in that way, like, I went to a gifted school. You already had the pressure of going to a gifted school and seeing your classmates do well. I didn't have to come home and face disappointment from my parents if I got a B. And I
Yeah,
know there are people out there that did.
and I mean, again, it's interesting that I think we started off differently though. Like I think that we really focused on, like when I say with your brother, like he was doing multiplication in kindergarten. We had one kid. We just like did all the
Yeah.
things. He could do it all.
Yeah, but
Um
he's smart. Like, he came out of the womb brilliant, bro. A little
yeah,
odd,
but you're
but brilliant.
okay, way to describe him, but you also are extremely
Yeah, but
smart.
he didn't have what I had. Like, he didn't have like the lack of attention issues, or like you didn't even make me do the multiplication tests. Like, I got out of
Because your
those.
anxiety was so
Yeah, but that's like the point.
high.
That's like you couldn't parent us the same because I would have a breakdown if you made me do a time test. Probably still would have a breakdown if you made me do a time test.
Yeah, I think that we actually got the teacher to not give you time tests, and she agreed. She said this is ridiculous, that this is, this is not worth it. She knows how to multiply, but when you put this pressure on her, the fact that that is part of our educational system where, and I understand real life, like you have to do things in a certain time period.
I
But
won't ever
gosh,
have to
when you're,
multiply in a certain time period. I won't
yeah,
ever have to do like 50 multiplication facts in less than a minute. Probably ever won't actually have to ever multiply again, to be quite honest.
yeah.
So,
Well, you do have to multiply like every day of
la
your
la
life.
la la. Boring.
Yeah.
I think what also helped is that, speaking on that, you guys always advocated for us and then taught us in turn how to advocate for ourselves.
Actually, that's one of the most important things I think we've taught you guys. And I can tell you with your brother who has dyslexia, your brother who's on the autism spectrum, I feel like that's the most important skill that we've given them for sure is they don't, when they're struggling with something, they say it. Okay.
Yeah,
I,
I do
I
not
don't,
keep it in.
yeah, I don't understand this. I can't read this. I can't read your social cues. I mean, that was one of the best things I ever heard Noah say is that I don't get jokes. So if I'm not laughing, it's because I don't get the social cues behind it. And I thought that was like a really big thing for him
Yeah.
to say that. And
Wait, when did
even
he
this
say that?
couple of years ago, he does get jokes now, but like
Yeah,
it's
but
not
like,
the same.
yeah.
Sometimes people will say something and he just doesn't get it. um I would tell you that one of the things, and the way he self-advocates, so we were at a friend's place this past weekend and we were talking about food, and he eats a very limited diet, and it's not a good diet, but it is what he eats. And we've tried food therapy, we've tried all these different things, and at what point do you say you have to figure it out for yourself? Like you have to decide, right? We can put 16,000 things in front of you and you can try a bite and gag it up, and I can keep doing that, or you have to figure out how you're going to deal with things. So if you're going to someone's house and they're not going to have the chicken nuggets, you got to figure out, like, are you going to eat? Are you not going to eat? Or are you going to bring it with you? And so this weekend I said, like, this is what he eats. And they had no problem getting him food, but they started asking him questions like, what do you eat? And he listed what he ate. And they're like, well, what about cheese? And he said, cheese is really hard for me. Right. I
Yeah.
mean, to be able to say that and just say, like, I can't do it. It's really hard for me.
Yeah.
The texture, the flavor. And but instead of just being embarrassed about it, self-advocating, right? And I think that for all of you guys, it's probably the most important skill. And maybe that's something that really, creates
I
this strong
yeah,
relationship.
I think, I mean, it showed that you guys cared growing up. Like, you didn't let me like suffer through time tests in second grade. You didn't ignore my teacher calling home and saying she cannot focus in class. Like, you have to take her somewhere. You stepped up to the plate more, like above and beyond, and like went above and beyond to fix our issues, even if at the time we didn't think it was the right decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, I think that as parents, that's our job. Not to be a helicopter parent. I mean, everybody parents differently, but it's not for me to stand above you and say, you have to eat the cheese, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, I'm going to guide you and I'm going to show you. And as you grow up, you're going to make your own decisions. And hopefully, I've
Yeah.
done a good enough job when you were little that you'll reach out to me and you'll say, okay, here's what I'm struggling with. And I feel like that's where we are.
Yeah, I think so. I think most of your kids are like that. I don't know. I don't talk to all your kids
So,
regularly.
so what do you don't talk to all your siblings? Yeah.
Dude,
So
I'm busy.
I know. So what do you think, like thinking about, okay, you're 21, so you're not thinking about being a parent, but
I think about it. I think about it in the way of like, we talked about this earlier. Were you just lucky and did we just get easy
mm,
kids?
so
But I don't think that's true. I think you guys just like let us have the room to grow within a space that was confined enough. I don't know the right way of saying that, but it's like
makes
you let
sense.
us be ourselves without facing the world right at once.
Mm, hmm. You know, we're already at time, but I have an idea for another show because I really think that this is such an important topic because I think a lot of parents struggle finding that connection with their kids. And so anything we can do to help other parents and other
I will
kids
say,
figure it
like,
out.
on that note, like, it is on the parent. It's on the parent. I don't think there's
Hmm.
ever a situation where it is on the kid to form that relationship. It is on the parent.
Yeah, you are a parent for a reason, right?
You are a
And,
parent. Your kid
sometimes
did
there
not
are,
ask to be your kid, but you became your kid's parent.
so there,
Extenuating circumstances aside,
yeah,
obviously.
there are always extenuating circumstances. And I'll say one last thing about this that I feel like one thing we were very fortunate about with each of our kids that they've always had really good friends, right?
Yeah.
I did not have good friends when I was in high school. I got into a bad group. And when you struggle with confidence, when you struggle with self-doubt and you're in a group that kind of does the bad things, you're going to do the bad things. And so that's why for me, I feel very fortunate that all of you had a good set of friends and that you understood that you could come to us you had the confidence enough to be able to come to us with issues
Yeah.
that you were struggling with. And we had the confidence enough to not judge, right? We're here to support. We're not here to judge.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think we'll revisit this topic because I think there's a lot more to be said on it. But for today, our time is up.
Would you like me to read?
Oh, yeah. Calendar me, baby.
Start taking on specific areas of your life with some kind of overriding intent. A commitment to turn off the autopilot you're currently coasting on. To be alive to your potential, eager to make a difference, to no longer just go along with the bullshit. Not really what we were talking about, but what can
You
you
know
do?
what? I still feel like there's a good connection there because I think that there is this idea that as a parent, like you are in charge, right?
Hmm.
But you're on autopilot when you do that. You can't just think like you're in charge. Like, how do you build the
You're
connection?
not babysitting.
Yeah, get off of autopilot. Figure out how to build a connection with your kids. And again, extenuating circumstances. I know there are parents with estranged children, and I know that it is very, very difficult. And so I'm not just overgeneralizing the situation, but I'm saying that there is a way, right? If you
Yeah.
really want this relationship, you build it. You build it from the inside out, just like you build confidence. You work with your kids, you meet them at their level, you parent different for each child. And I think when you do all those things, then you will find a connection. And more to be revisited in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Her Unshakable Confidence. Always